Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
I came out and opened the front door, and I could hear sirens coming from every direction. I knew then that something bad was wrong.
Today marks 1 year since that powerful tornado swept through the Salado area. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Lamparski. The EF3 tornado started south of Bell County before ripping through areas just west of town. It carved a path more than 16 miles long and a half-mile wide. Nearly 24 people were hurt. Homes and businesses, along with the Cedar Valley Baptist Church, left devastated.
We take the weather seriously now. It's when they say, tornado warning or whatever, we're on watch. We don't take it lightly.
Earlier this month, dozens gathered at the church to celebrate its recovery. Governor Greg Abbott was also at that event. Let's start our 6 o'clock hour now with a check on the weather with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, a different look out today than a year ago.
Yeah, definitely a different look out there than a year ago. Of course, that tornado tracking across 2 counties, started in Williamson County, moved through Bell County. It was on the ground for 16.5 miles. And it even got as wide as about a half mile at one point. So a very large tornado, and it was on the high end of an EF3. In fact, it was only a mile per hour away from an EF4. So an intense situation there. Thankfully, nothing like that out there today. The Live Radar Network quiet and is expected to be a quiet, beautiful spring-like day. A little chilly to start. We're in the lower 40s, but by afternoon, we're heading back into those upper 70s. May see a spot shower east of 35, but majority of us stay dry. More storm chances on the way. I'll break them down that 10-day coming up.
Josh, new developments in the case of a Fort Hood soldier convicted of murder. Daniel Perry's defense team filing a motion for a new trial on Tuesday. They claim that the court left out key evidence, which they say shows Garrett Foster and protesters were the first aggressors, not Perry. The former Army sergeant was found guilty on Friday of killing Foster during a Black Lives Matter protest. He claims he killed Foster in self-defense. The State Board of Pardons and Paroles is now looking into the case at Governor Greg Abbott's request. The Travis County District Attorney is asking to meet with the Board of Pardons to discuss the evidence in the case. He's asking them to review the trial transcript and evidence from trial officials. He's also asking them to speak with Foster's family before deciding on a pardon. All of this comes as Perry awaits sentencing. The fallout continues after a recent report on the military and how it disciplines soldiers. The Texas Tribune finding the Army kicks out soldiers rather than letting them face legal consequences for violent crimes. A watchdog called for the ending of the practice back in 1978, arguing service members should only be kicked out if they're unfit, not to prevent cases against the Army. The report lists Fort Hood several times. 25 News anchor Todd Unger spoke with one of the reporters who broke the story.
What is your biggest takeaway from all of this?
My biggest takeaway is that there's this very interesting practice in the Army that has no civilian equivalent that allows soldiers who've already been charged with a crime to essentially be fired and their case dismissed simultaneously. That's called separations in lieu of trial. And based on our analysis, the Army specifically is using these sorts of separations increasingly in cases that involve violent offenses like sexual assault, domestic violence, those sorts of things.
You looked at cases from across the country, but there were some troubling ones from right here at Fort Hood.
Definitely. Yeah, we looked really closely at one case. The defendant's name was Faustino Vallo. In that case out of Fort Hood that began in 2017. It was a assault case that involved strangulation and a firearm, which he fired as the victim was running away, trying to escape the assault.
These are individuals that were on track for a court-martial proceeding.
It speaks to this weird intersection of the military as this unique position of being these soldiers, both employer and judge in these scenarios. So they're essentially firing them and dismissing a criminal case against them at the same time because of that sort of weird intersection. And because they consider this an administrative action, that limits what we can know about it because they consider these records to be kept under the Privacy Act. So you're not able to get any of the court records associated with these cases if they end in a separation in lieu of trial.
This report getting some strong reaction from local veterans as well. 25 News reporter Adam Schindler spoke with a few in Killeen near Fort Hood to get their thoughts.
Tim Furch is a veteran who served over 20 years in the Army and now runs the Thai food truck in Killeen. As a person that not only served in the Army, but led soldiers throughout his military career, says he was shocked when he read the article in the Texas Tribune about service members leaving the military instead of facing charges for violent crimes.
Being a squad leader or any kind of a leader like that, when you read something like this, you would think that what if this was one of your soldiers that committed the crime? You would want them to feel the extent of the law.
Furch isn't the only veteran in Bell County feeling like justice is being avoided. Elisa Sherman is another Army veteran who says she was sexually harassed by her commanding officer and was appalled by what she read.
To circumvent, serious crimes in the military like assault, sexual assault, rape or child abuse, domestic violence against spouses and things of that nature. That should never happen.
It's not just a lack of justice that is bothering them. Furch is a business owner who worries that possible future employees will be able to keep serious crimes like these hidden from people looking to hire veterans.
When you get out with a less than honorable, there is no disclosure that is absolutely necessary on what you got out for too. So there's not going to be any way to know whether it was an actual sex crime or just they stole bubble gum from a candy shop.
That's Adam Schindler reporting. Both Furch and Sherman say something needs to change. They say these crimes should be taken seriously and criminals should be brought to justice. Well, summer is almost here, and if you're looking to get fit, listen up. Up next, an event happening this weekend that's offering fun for the whole family and a chance to get in shape. Let's get a check now on your weather with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, truly starting to feel like spring out there.
Yeah, feeling like spring. Spring brings those springtime allergies. I don't know if you felt those kicking up here lately.
Unfortunately, I have.
Yeah, a lot of folks starting to deal with it. And it's partially because we get two big seasons here in Central Texas. One of them being the cedar pollen that causes all the issues. The other one we're right in the middle of now, or at least hitting the crest of here soon, and that is oak season here in Central Texas. You can see on our Central Texas pollen calendar that cedar season starting off there in the winter. We kind of transition out of that into oak, and so that is likely what is causing the issues for you as you are starting to sneeze again here in Central Texas. That's going to go all the way through May and start to crest on down as we head towards the summer. Luckily, the winds are a little light today, so we get a little bit of a break, moderate pollen levels, but I do think they'll pick up as winds pick up Friday on into Saturday. Again, those predominant allergens, oak and ash. Part of the reason the winds are light right now, well, we're stuck between two systems. We're kind of in a lull here in Central Texas, a tropical low off to our east. That may bring a couple of rain showers to the Brazos Valley and eastern areas, but most of us will have to wait until our next storm system gets some rain. Of course, that rain helps draw out some of that pollen, but we don't have any on the way for today. Let's walk you through time here on Future Track. Again, there's that moisture from that tropical system may cause a couple of showers east of I-35 down into the Brazos Valley. It'll also increase the cloud cover during the second part of the day, but overall, I think we'll see a mostly sunny day here in Central Texas. Our next storm system won't move in until this dry line gets close to us on Friday. That may spark off a couple of isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. I think there may be a threat for severe weather north of us. Some of that may extend down into our area, so we're watching it closely, but right now, nothing to worry about too much. Next cold front swings through on Saturday, overtakes that dry line. Could see a couple of thunderstorms early in the day on Saturday. I think the second part of the day on Saturday is fairly quiet. So that's our next best storm chance. After that, we get a little bit of a cool down in the mornings, not so much in the afternoon. It'll still feel like spring. And then as we get into next week, closer to 80 with a couple of thunderstorm chances as well.
All right, thanks, Josh. Summer is right around the corner, and if your family is looking to get beach ready, there's a fun event you won't want to miss. Van Davis is the organizer, and she's joining us now with the details. Good morning, Van. Can you tell us a little bit about this event that's happening this weekend?
Good morning. Well, every month this year, we're having an awesome family fit and fun workout, and for April, this weekend, we are going to have a dance fitness with Susan Bell. And it's just a dance party. We're going to exercise. We're going to have fun. And it's for the whole family. So we want the whole family to come out.
Can you join in even if you're not, used to going to these classes, or you wouldn't call yourself, a fitness guru of any sort?
And especially for those individuals you were talking about, this is the perfect place because we want people to come out every month and try out different formats. Last month we had circuit training, we've had jazzercise, and this month we're going to have dance fitness. So we want to make sure that it's for all fitness levels. So if you've not been working out for a while, this is a good place to start. Or if you're an avid exerciser, this is also something just kind of breaking the monotonous of your workout. So getting out of the routine, bring the whole family out. It's going to be a good weekend. So, yeah.
What should people expect when they get there? What should they expect to be doing?
Well, first, we're going to see a lot of people because Susan Bell used to be a fitness instructor here in Waco. She moved to Austin, has a lot of followers. So hopefully all of her followers will come. We're going to be in the gym. So first thing, we're going to warm up. We're going to do lots of dance and lots of fun, and then a little bit of toning as well. And of course, cooling down with some great stretches. So it's a total body workout, but with the music, it's going to be fun. And you don't have to do anything at all. Just bring some water to drink, and then we'll take care of everything.
A good way to get ready for this summer. How do people sign up? How do they get?
All they have to do is just show up at Crestview Church of Christ Community Center on Dale High Road, and that's it. Just show up. You don't have to pre-register or anything at all. Bring lots of energy, and we're just going to have fun.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're
It's
so
been a lot of fun
welcome.
for the whole family this weekend. We'll be right here after this. April is National Literature Month, and across the country, readers and authors are diving into their favorite books and sharing how literature has played an important part in history and culture. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon is with us this morning, and how Copperas Cove ISD is celebrating this month. Good morning, Nakia.
Good morning, Andrew. Have you ever written your own book? Well, if you are just like me, you haven't. But students at Williams Ledger Elementary are getting one step ahead in literacy. On a national level, according to the New York Times, reading scores on exams declined in half of all states in 2019. Only 35% of fourth graders were proficient in reading. This month, students at CCISD had a chance to create books on their own topics. Educators want to ensure students start reading at a young age.
Characters and settings, and then the next week we go in and we're actually doing characters and settings. And the same thing with conflict and solutions. We're doing it here and then we go in there and we put it into practice. So it gives them an immediate anchor to their learning and an immediate use for what they've just been taught.
Coming up on Good Morning Texas, I'll take you inside the classroom where students are prepared to share their books with their family and friends. Back to Andrew.
Thanks, Nakia. Copperas Cove ISD is also getting ready to host its 7th annual Autism Awareness Walk. It's happening at Hank Stadium this Saturday at 10 a.m. More than 300 students and their families are expected to come out for a variety of sensory activities, along with competitions and prizes. This event is free and everyone is welcome. Let's get a check on your forecast now with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, how's it looking?
A little chilly this morning. We have temperatures that are in the 40s. You look at the Clark Roofing Cam and Harker Heights, and I-14 rolling smoothly this morning. That's the good news. Cold spot, Waco at 43, but it's in the upper 40s right now in Killeen and in Temple. It's where we start off your Wednesday. We're going to get into the lower 70s by noon, and late this afternoon back into the upper 70s. So very typical spring-like day here in Central Texas. May have to watch for a couple of showers east of I-35. Better storm chances are on the way, though. I'll walk you through it in that 10-day forecast coming up.
Now 6:20, and these are the top stories we're following this morning. A Kentucky community preparing to honor the victims of a deadly mass shooting. They'll hold a vigil today for the 5 people killed in the attack. It comes a day after police released dramatic body camera video showing officers taking down the shooter. An expelled Tennessee lawmaker will soon learn whether he'll get his job back. Commissioners in Memphis are holding a vote today to decide whether to reinstate Justin Pearson. He was voted out last week after he marched with gun control protesters on the chamber floor. Manhattan's district attorney filing a lawsuit against House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. Alvin Bragg is accusing the Republican of trying to intimidate and attack him for prosecuting former President Donald Trump. Trump is facing dozens of charges of falsifying business records. Bragg wants a court to block attempts from House Republicans to interfere. Marvel giving fans a sneak peek of its next big movie, and it's marking the return of an Avenger. We'll have the details next. Superhero fans are getting a first look at the next big team-up movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Your team? Oh, no, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
Marvel Studios showing off its new trailer for The Marvels. It'll see Brie Larson's Captain Marvel team up with Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel. Both of those characters were introduced in Disney Plus shows. Samuel L. Jackson also makes a return as Nick Fury. The movie is set to hit theaters this November. And now it's time to find out who's going to win this morning's Good Morning Texas coffee mug. Josh, who's our lucky winner today?
Sure is. And today's winner is Daniel Sanchez. Congrats, Daniel. We'll let you know. You can pick up one of these Good Morning Texas mugs.
And don't forget, if you want to win one of these awesome mugs, just go to kxxv.com/contests, click the mug, and enter your email address. That easy. We're giving away a mug every weekday morning from 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. All you have to do is join us to see if you're a winner. So Josh, how's the weather looking out there this morning?
You know, it's really not looking that bad. It is a little cool this morning, but it is setting up to be a much nicer day today and should be pretty quiet as well. That is the good news. Let's take you outside, show you what it looks like on the Clark Roofing Cam in Killeen this morning. Things rolling smoothly in Bell County there. Temperature in Killeen currently sitting at 52, humidity 86%, winds they're on the calm side. Now, that may allow for a little bit of patchy fog to develop in some low-lying areas. Haven't seen any reports yet, but don't be surprised if you see it. 43 in Waco, 47 in Temple at this time. There's a little tropical moisture moving into Louisiana. Now, with that close to us, it may be enough to produce a couple of showers east of I-35. The main thing most of us will see, though, is a couple more of those cumulus clouds working in as we get into the afternoon. Next best storm chance arrives along a dry line that'll set up on Friday. I think that will lead to the potential for some stronger storms to our north. We'll have to watch it here locally, but right now, nothing too concerning. Then our next cold front comes in on Saturday. That could bring some storm chances during the first part of the day. Second part looks to be pretty quiet. We'll stay near 80 until then. Behind that front, we'll get some cooler mornings working back in. Afternoons will still be seasonably warm, and we're close to 80 next week as well.
Thanks, Josh. We've got much more ahead in just minutes.
Connecting Central Texas. This is Good Morning Texas.
I came out and opened the front door, and I could hear sirens coming from every direction. I knew then that something bad was wrong.
Today marks 1 year since that powerful tornado swept through the Salado area. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Lamparski. The EF3 tornado started south of Bell County before ripping through areas just west of town. It carved a path more than 16 miles long and a half-mile wide. Nearly 24 people were hurt. Homes and businesses, along with the Cedar Valley Baptist Church, left devastated.
We take the weather seriously now. It's when they say, tornado warning or whatever, we're on watch. We don't take it lightly.
Earlier this month, dozens gathered at the church to celebrate its recovery. Governor Greg Abbott was also at that event. Let's start with a check on the weather with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, a nice day ahead, it looks like.
Yeah, thankfully a nice day here today. Of course, wasn't the case a year ago, as you saw there. That tornado tracking from Williamson County into Bell County, officially rated an EF3, but it wasn't far from an EF4, and it was on the ground for 16.5 miles, 13 of which we're in Bell County. Thankfully, none of that out there today. In fact, a pretty quiet day as you look at the Clark Roofing Cam in Killeen. Temperatures in the upper 40s. Live radar network showing you that things are quiet as well. We have temperatures that, again, are in the upper 40s. A cold spot, though, 43 right now in Waco. We're starting off kind of chilly. May see a little bit of fog develop, but it'll turn into a sunny day, and we'll warm up quickly back into the upper 70s this afternoon. Now, I am tracking some storm chances by the end of the week. We'll break those down the 10-day coming up.
developments in the case of a Fort Hood soldier convicted of murder. Daniel Perry's defense team filing a motion for a new trial on Tuesday. They claim that the court left out key evidence, which they say shows Garrett Foster and protesters were the first aggressors, not Perry. The former Army sergeant was found guilty on Friday of killing Foster during a Black Lives Matter protest. He claims he killed Foster in self-defense. The State Board of Pardons and Paroles is now looking into the case at Governor Greg Abbott's request. The Travis County District Attorney is asking to meet with the Board of Pardons to discuss the evidence in the case. He's asking them to review the trial transcript and evidence from trial officials. He's also asking to speak with Foster's family before deciding on a pardon. All of this comes as Perry awaits sentencing. An investigation is underway this morning after a frightening car crash in Waco. Police say it happened on the I-35 service road near Valley Mills Drive last night. Officers say a car flipped, ejecting 2 of the 4 people inside. First responders rushed all of them to the hospital. It's not clear how they're doing right now. A grim update now in the search for a missing little boy in North Texas. Police in Everman saying new information leads them to believe there were human remains on the property where Noel Rodriguez Alvarez's family once lived. Officers and volunteers started searching the area on Monday. Crews also digging up the back porch. Police say they did that because cadaver dogs picked up a scent in the topsoil and from a carpet in a nearby dumpster.
It does lead us to believe that there were human remains at one point in time in the shed that used to exist where now that concrete patio sits.
Police say this continues to be a death investigation. Federal agents are now working to track down the boy's mother and stepfather. We're a little over a month away from marking 1 year since the massacre at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The school district says it won't be holding classes that day. Uvalde CISD says staff and students will be off from May 23rd through May 25th. The district's interim superintendent made the announcement on Monday after the changes were approved at a meeting back in February. High school graduation is scheduled for May 26th. The district's last day of school is June 1st. From the state capitol, House lawmakers approving a bill supporting death benefits for troops in Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star. The Texas Tribune says the bill would give families of Texas National Guard troops who die on duty during the border operation a $500,000 death benefit. This would give troops the same benefits as other law enforcement assigned to the mission. The House will take a final vote today, and if it passes, the bill will head to the Senate. 3 bills in the Senate taking a hard look at higher education. The first would prohibit professors from compelling students to adopt certain beliefs. The second would eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And the third would ban tenure for professors. Supporters say the bills will create a culture of diverse ideas, but critics say they'll just turn away prospective faculty and students. The House passing a bill to keep the state on daylight saving time. The bill still needs to pass the state Senate and be signed by the governor. However, feds say states don't have permission to stay permanently on daylight saving time. They can be on standard time, though, like Arizona. A bill that would expand the medical marijuana program in Texas is now heading to the Senate. Right now, patients can receive low THC marijuana for certain medical conditions, but this new bill would expand the list of conditions to include any chronic pain a doctor might prescribe an opioid for, or a debilitating medical condition. The bill would also change what qualifies as low THC. New details this morning about that deadly shooting in Kentucky. In 7 minutes, what police body cam footage is revealing as the community prepares to remember the victims. But first, a free event giving the whole family a chance to get in shape for summer. The organizer joins us with the details next.
And a nice view this morning over Lake Belton. It's setting up to be a gorgeous day out there today. I'll walk you through that forecast coming up.
Let's get a check now on your weather with meteorologist meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, another day to enjoy the sunshine before the end of the week.
Yeah, another day to enjoy the sunshine, but much like yesterday, we'll see a couple of clouds come in the afternoon. And if you look at the view from space, you're going to see why we're seeing this. You look at the loop over the last 24 hours, and you can see a couple of those clouds that are in the northern Gulf of Mexico. Those tried to work into some of our eastern counties yesterday. You'll see a little bit of a spin actually sitting here south of Louisiana. This is a little tropical low that's moving through, and as that nears us, it'll actually bring up our moisture, may lead to a couple of showers in our eastern counties, but many of us stay dry for today. Right now, skies are clear as you look at the Clark Roofing Cam in South Waco. 25 News Studio giving you a beautiful view at the sunrise. It's chilly as well. Lower 40s right now in Waco, upper 40s Killeen and Temple, a couple of 50s towards Cameron and towards Hearn. Again, there's that system spinning in the Gulf. That will bring moisture to Louisiana, may bring a couple of showers to our eastern counties, but the bigger thing we'll notice is as it moves onshore, we'll start to see those dew points climb up as southeast winds take over. So dew points come up into the 60s as we get into the weekend. You're really going to feel that humidity start to build in here over the next few days. There's that potential for a couple of showers this afternoon. Notice very spotty in nature, and they generally stay east of I-35. That'll keep moving off to the east, and then our eyes will focus on the dry line as we get into Friday. As that nears us, the potential will be there for some thunderstorms. Some could be strong to severe, especially north of our area, but if the conditions change just a little bit, we could be looking at that potential here. And then as the cold front sweeps through on Saturday, that will bring another chance of storms in the morning. Behind it, though, things will be drying out as we head towards the second part of that weekend. So just a couple small rain chances here on the way. Behind that, we'll see a little bit of a cool down, upper 40s in the morning, and afternoons will still stay warm. We'll be close to 80 for much of next week.
Thanks, Josh. Summer is right around the corner, and if your family is looking to get beach ready, there's a fun event you won't want to miss. Van Davis is the organizer, and she's joining us now with the details this morning. Good morning, Van.
Good morning, Andrew.
So tell me just briefly, what can people expect if they're coming out to this event this weekend?
Well, for this month, we are going to have Dance Fitness with Susan Bell. It's going to be fun. The music is going to be full of energy, and we want this to be a family, the entire family event. So bring out the whole family, move your bodies, have some fun, get lots of energy for the weekend. And it's free.
It's free, importantly. What's the importance of bringing together the whole family for a fitness event like this?
Well, I think the first thing is that if children see the parents working out, and if this is important for my parents, maybe it's important for me as well. So I think, being a good role model for your children is always great. And then also the other thing is that, to have a large family, a lot of times you can't find a wholesome event that is free. So being free event for everyone, this is going to be great. And also Saturday morning, the weather is going to be great. Get out of the house, come and just have fun with us.
And I know this isn't the only event like this that you guys have done. Tell me about the importance of doing this, not just before summer, but all year round.
Well, what we try to do is provide different formats every month. So in hopes that, somebody would come in and say, well, I've never done dance fitness before, so let's try it out. And maybe they'll pursue it long term. Or yoga, we'll have yoga in June. So just giving people different formats to try and see if they enjoy it. And it's always great to have a variety of workouts. You don't want to do the same thing over and over and over. So just trying something new is always great for our health, and it's great for our mental health as well.
Right, and for people who are interested in coming out, what details do they need to know?
All you have to do is just show up at Crestview Church of Christ Community Center, and at 11 o'clock is when we start. And again, it's free. And you don't have to pre-register. Just show up and bring some water to drink.
Thank you so much for joining us, Van.
Thank you.
Fitness for free coming up
Fitness
this Saturday.
for free.
We'll be right back after this. Now to the latest on that mass shooting in Kentucky that killed 5 people. Several others remain in critical condition, including a rookie police officer. He and his trainer rushed to the scene. Now, we're getting a look at their harrowing body cam footage. Wynn has the latest.
This morning, a growing memorial outside Old National Bank in downtown Louisville. After a gunman opened fire Monday, killing 5 employees, injuring 8 others, while live streaming on social media.
Stop right here.
Newly released police body cam footage showing rookie police officer Nicholas Wilt and his training officer Corey Galloway taking fire as the shooter ambushes them from the bank's lobby, shooting through the windows. Wilt, sworn in less than 2 weeks before, now listed in critical condition after getting shot in the head. Galloway grazed by a bullet before returning fire, killing the 25-year-old shooter.
They did absolutely exactly what they needed to do to save lives.
Police say the shooter, a bank employee who sources say was about to be fired, used an AR-15 he bought days earlier. At the hospital treating victims, a doctor speaking out about gun violence.
To everyone who helps make policy, both at state, city, federal, I would simply ask you to do something. Because doing nothing, which is what we've been doing, is not working.
The weapon used in the Louisville attack will eventually be auctioned off to a federally licensed dealer because Kentucky law bans authorities from destroying seized guns.
That murder weapon will be back on the streets one day under Kentucky's current law.
The shooter's family overnight saying there was never any warning signs he was capable of this shocking act. Meanwhile, the White House is again calling on Congress to pass gun reform legislation. I'm Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
New data shows workplaces are the most common sites for mass shootings. Between 1966 and 2021, there were more than 50 shootings at workplaces nationwide, accounting for more than 30% of mass shootings. Researchers say the biggest motive behind the attacks are employment-related issues. The Biden administration wants to reduce exposure to a cancer-causing chemical. Ethylene dioxide is a toxic gas used to sterilize medical equipment, but long-term exposure can increase your risk of cancer. The EPA is proposing new rules to reduce the release of the chemical by more than 80%. Under the rules, sterilizer facilities would need to regularly check for the chemical in the air. The EPA plans to finalize the new rule next year. Troubling new data shows STDs are on the rise in the U.S., and federal health officials are hoping a morning after pill can help prevent new infections. Doxycycline is a cheap antibiotic that has been sold for more than 50 years. The drug can treat several infections, including and new research shows it can possibly prevent STDs. A recent study found people who took it within 72 hours of unprotected sex were 90% less likely to get chlamydia and 80% less likely to get syphilis. The CDC is currently drafting recommendations to use it as the morning after type pill. The search for a missing boy in North Texas taking another turn. Just ahead, what we're now learning about the case.
Good morning, coming up here on GMA. So much to get to. And of course, we'll start with the very latest on President Biden's meeting right now with the UK Prime Minister amid the massive leak of those classified documents exposing top secret U.S. intelligence to the world. We're going to break down what it could all mean for the war in Ukraine and if more leaks are coming. Ian Pannell is on the scene in Kyiv. Our Mary Bruce live with the president this morning. That and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Now, Josh, what's it looking like out there as the sun comes up?
Yeah, a little cool out there this morning. Temperatures in the upper 40s as you look at the Clark Roofing cam, looking at I-14 and Harker Heights. The good news is no issues for that morning commute. I don't anticipate any, but you might need a light jacket as you're heading out the door with those temperatures a little bit on the chilly side. Dropping off the kiddos, you're going to be dealing with temperatures in the mid-40s. By afternoon, though, we're heading towards 77, so even if you're grabbing the light jacket, put short sleeves underneath and be sure to take some water if you're heading to school this morning.
A grim update now in the search for a missing little boy in North Texas. Police in Everman saying new information leads them to believe there were human remains on the property where Noel Rodriguez Alvarez's family once lived. Officers and volunteers started searching the area on Monday. Crews also digging up the back porch. Police say they did that because cadaver dogs picked up a scent in the topsoil and from a carpet in a nearby dumpster.
It does lead us to believe that there were human remains at one point in time in the shed that used to exist where now that concrete patio sits.
Police say this continues to be a death investigation. Federal agents are working now to track down the boy's mother and stepfather. April is National Literature Month, and across the country, readers and authors are diving into their favorite books and sharing how literature has played an important part in history and culture. 25 News reporter Nakia Simon is with us this morning with how Copper's Cove ISD is celebrating. Good morning, Nakia.
Good morning, Andrew. That's correct. Have you ever written your own book? Well, if you are just like me, you haven't. But for the students at William Ledger Elementary, they are one step ahead in creating books on topics they want the world to know. Take a look. Literature covers a wide range of stories, from fables to folk tales and even fairy tales. And for students at Williams Ledger Elementary, topics like
kindness
or
trees
is what they hope to share with the world.
because it helps make people smile and not sad.
For a little over 2 months, Ms. Taylor's class has worked on writing and creating the artwork for their books.
And I talked to the kids about characters and settings, and then conflict and resolution, and just how we put all of that together into a book.
To ensure students are strong readers at a young age.
To learn more and go to different places.
Sharing the importance of literature, a tool they can use for a lifetime.
As they get older, I mean, I'm sure there will be some of them that will be illustrators and authors and things like that, but right now, my biggest goal is just to get them comfortable with writing and to show them that writing is fun, and for them to be able to carry that through their educational career.
Copper's Cove ISD is continuing their commitment to training teachers to be literary instruction experts, so all students can get a head start on reading from an early age. Back to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Nakia. Copper's Cove ISD is also getting ready to host its 7th annual Autism Awareness Walk. It's happening at Hank Stadium this Saturday at 10 a.m. More than 300 students and their families are expected to come out for a variety of sensory activities, along with competitions and prizes. The event is free and everyone is welcome. It's 6:54, and these are the top stories we're following. President Joe Biden in Northern Ireland today. He's meeting with political leaders and will give a speech later. He'll discuss the Good Friday Agreement and how the U.S. can continue to show its support. We'll learn more about the state of inflation this morning. The Consumer Price Index is out today and is expected to show that prices cooled in March. The Federal Reserve might use that data to decide whether to raise interest rates again. Daniel Perry's defense team filing a motion for a new trial. They claim the court left out key evidence which they say shows Garrett Foster and protesters were first aggressors, not Perry. The former Army sergeant was found guilty on Friday of killing Foster during a Black Lives Matter protest. He claims he killed Foster in self-defense. The State Board of Pardons and Paroles is now looking into the case at Governor Abbott's request. And today marks 1 year since a powerful tornado swept through the Salado area. The EF3 tornado started south of Bell County before ripping through areas just west of town. It carved a path more than 16 miles long and a half mile wide. Nearly 24 people were hurt, homes and businesses left devastated. Now let's get one last check of your weather with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, what should we expect today?
Yeah, not a bad day shaping up. It is a little cool this morning, though. You do need a jacket if you're heading out the door. You're looking at the Clark Roofing Cam in South Waco. A little bit of clouds in our eastern counties. Low 40s out there right now in Waco, upper 40s, Killeen and Temple. So grab a light jacket as you are heading out. Those clouds you saw on the camera, they're actually from this little tropical low sitting in the northern Gulf of Mexico. That is going to bring a lot of moisture into Louisiana. Some of that moisture could actually trigger a shower later on today east of I-35. So say from Fairfield through Centerville, Madisonville, you'll have the best shot at seeing some of that down into the Brazos Valley. I think most of the activity will weaken before it even reaches the I-35 corridor, but don't be surprised if we see something. The dry line is going to get active later on tomorrow over West Texas, and then it moves towards us on Friday. We'll have to watch to see if a spot thunderstorm can pop on that. Cold front arrives Saturday morning. That could bring some thunderstorms as well, but then behind that, things do look to dry out for the rest of the weekend. And we'll see a little bit of a cool down, but not much from that. You'll notice that the mornings, afternoons will still be in the upper 40s, and then later on next week, lower 80s for most of the week.
Thanks, Josh, and thanks for starting your day with us. Good Morning America is next, and we'll be right back here at 25 News Midday.